Hey guys, Drifter here. What you're watching right now is EA's official trailer for Hazard Zone, and when this one is done playing in a very short amount of time, we're going to swap back over to a semi-random assortment of Battlefield 2042 clips. Now, this is a mode that I wanted to be super excited about, that I wanted to be really hyped about, that I wanted to do a whole big video for, and a breakdown and an analysis. And while it did initially look amazing, I did learn one fact about it along the way that was just a huge buzzkill for me that kind of brought down not only my excitement about Hazard Zone, but about Battlefield 2042 in general. And we're going to talk about that near the latter half of the video. We'll go over some basic Hazard Zone information first, so I can lead you into why I was hyped, and then why I got let down. So the short version of Hazard Zone is that it's a new Battlefield mode, and it's not Battle Royale. It's more akin to Baby's First Tarkov. If you're not familiar with Tarkov, that's a very hardcore looter shooter type game that does have Battle Royale type elements, and you have to play it for a great number of hours like Rust in order to build up your gear and equipment. You deploy as a squad of 4 into any of the 7 gigantic maps that Battlefield 2042 launches with, so it sounds, pretty Battle Royale and pretty Tarky-like at the moment. I'm very glad that it does support every single map because that gives a lot of variety, and when you do this, you have to choose the same specialists as multiplayer, and they have to be unique. You can't have 4 grapple hook guys. Whenever somebody locks in a specialist, that specialist is gone, Overwatch style. So everybody has to pick a unique character. Now there's 10 of them, so there should be plenty of choices to go around. But you have to kind of make your team with these specialists in mind. And I think they're going to matter more in this mode than they will in regular multiplayer. The weapons you get, however, are whatever you can afford because this is a looter shooter with an economy type system. And I don't think you get new weapons throughout the map unless you steal them. So everybody's going to start off with a basic default assault rifle that has no attachments and not much going on with it, and you're going to have to upgrade this over the course of not just one game but many games as your progress is consecutive and progressive. Once you're deployed on the map, you will almost immediately see satellites spawning above you and crashing into the ground, a lot like Warzone's satellite event, except with, a ton of them, and kind of like there in the thumbnail. Now, these satellites are your objectives. These are ultimately how you win the game, how you survive, and how you make your money. You have to capture these satellites and extract the data drives from them. I didn't get a super clear answer as to how this is done. I don't think it's like a domination point. I think you have to hold down a button and hack it or defuse it. But it pops open and a data drive comes out that you have to steal. I like to imagine it's just got a whole ton of Bitcoin on it, which will be worth quite a lot in 2042, no doubt. And this is kind of your money. The more of these drives you get, the more money you get, but you have to get out of the Hazard Zone alive in order to spend that money. There are 2 opportunities for extraction, and there's no other way to extract and come out with your money. There is a midpoint extraction that you can hop onto and leave early if you're satisfied with your progress. And then there is a final extraction where there is exactly 1 team that can leave there at the very end of the game that everybody has to fight over that particular extraction point. So basically you're doing a little bit of a Battle Royale type thing and a little bit of objectives because you only get 1 life. When you die, you're dead. You don't get to come back with the asterisks we'll talk about in a moment. And if your squad gets wiped, the entire round is over for you guys. You guys are just totally done and you're out and you've lost everything. However, if you manage to survive or your squad survives and you leave, however many of these data drives you leave with is how much money you make. And I assume that if one person has a bunch of data drives and they die, well, that's a lot of the team's money gone. But there are some sub-objectives. You have to capture satellite uplink stations that can give you vehicles, either, I think they're like light ATC vehicles, so not tanks and stuff, but smaller vehicles, and a whole bunch of transportation vehicles. There are also respawn stations. They call them reinforcement stations, very much so like Apex Legends. So if you have a teammate or 2 that are dead and you manage to capture one of these stations, you can bring your guys back to life that'll help you win the game. Now, Battlefield has had some major ammo concerns this year because, well, basically everybody likes running grapple hook and grenades and not the ammo bag, and there's not a lot of ammo to go around on the map. And I think it's going to be kind of the same here in this Tarkov-like mode, Hazard Zone, because they put additional ammo stations around the map for you to go refill your bullets, but not that many of them. So that's going to be a mini objective as well. You very much so can run out of ammo shooting people in Hazard Zone. However, let's say you do all this. Let's say you deploy, you've got an elite team of Navy SEAL operators that come in and wipe everybody and get these data drives and extract. Your reward for extracting is that you are given dark market credits, which I am super definitely thinking are cryptocurrency right now, to spend after this to get more weapons or tactical upgrades. So as for the weapons, it allows you to literally buy better and or different weapons for your character to use in the next deployment. And the idea here is that the richer squads that perform better and earn more money can progressively buy better and better stuff. It wasn't really clear what the penalty for losing is, but I do assume that there is definitely some penalty for losing because, as you'll see later, there's a cost to your loadout when you deploy. Then after that, you can buy attachments for those guns so that you can, have a sight, or you can have a suppressor, you can have whatever you need. And then finally, there are what they call tactical upgrades, and I know that the Battlefield team will probably hate this, but they're basically perks. They said there's 15 tactical upgrades, and they listed a few, like carry one extra grenade or gadget. There's one that shows the landing spots of the satellites 30 seconds before they arrive. The one about the loadout cost is called Loadout Insurance, which reimburses you 25% of the upgrades and loadouts if you die. So you get a little bit of money back if you die, so you don't totally lose all of it. Then there's Negotiated Bounty, where you get bonus money for killing other people. There's Quick Draw, where you can swap your weapons faster, and a whole bunch of other perks that are, as of yet, unlisted. And one final note is that as the game continues, the storm is supposed to get increasingly aggressive and meaner and more difficult to deal with. I don't think it's going to be like the gas in Battle Royale that like squeezes you together, but the storm is supposed to get more problematic the longer you stay in the game, because apparently 2042 is when the movie The Day After Tomorrow becomes reality. And you would say, okay, well, what's not to love about this? I mean, the trailer looked good, the gameplay looked good, you've got Battle Royale type things with mini objectives and class-based heroes, and you got to fight over ammo. This seems like the best of all these different modes. It's even got a Tarkov element too, which people love. Well, I was really hyped for it. I saw all those things and I was definitely on board. I was like, man, I'm going to really enjoy this mode. I'm going to play the crap out of this. And then it's like, okay, well, the Battlefield maps are like really big, and this gigantic one we played in the beta is a medium-sized map. So some of these are going to be even bigger. I'd probably better check to see like how many players is it going to be? And I figured I didn't think they would do a full 128, because then landing would be utter chaos and it would be a lot more killing and a lot less objectives. So I expected kind of 32 v 32 or something like that. But the sad thing is, if you're playing on PC and new generation of consoles, it is 32 total players. That is 32 total players, or roughly 8 squads on these maps. And 8 squads on Orbital, which is a medium map, is going to be pretty sparse. I can't imagine it on the bigger maps. And if you're playing on last gen, that's going to be 24 on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So you're only going to play with 24 players, which is, I don't think that's 6 squads. That's even less. That's just kind of depressing almost. And it just seems like it's going to be really sparse. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but doesn't that seem kind of small? I mean, I expected roughly double those numbers. I thought it would be like 64 players, so you would have more teams and it'd be kind of a hot landing and then space out. But if it's going to be like this, it's probably going to be a slow landing and slow combat for most of the time. If there's more than one satellite at a time, if there's actually even up to 3 satellites at a time, it means you'll never fight more than 1 or 2 squads. The vehicles are going to be very necessary just so you can get around the map, in order to travel, because you're going to be running around so much. And there is a silver lining, there's a hope here. It's possible that this mode is designed to be super tactical, like Tarkov, and some of the marketing material seems to advertise that. It's like every bullet counts, every engagement is life and death, and it's super serious. I'm like, okay, maybe if you're running low on ammo, but you can have ammo bags and you have ammo supplies. And if it's like Tarkov, then yes, every single battle is going to be super serious and it's going to seem like really hype and stuff. However, if it's more like regular multiplayer, I think it's just going to be bumbling around empty maps, and I can't say that I'm super excited to do that. So I have a great deal of skepticism about this new mode. I totally hope that I'm wrong. I hope that my complaints here are just baseless, but I'm very skeptical because the player count's quite low. Guys, that is all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.